5:31, minute late, but I will call the regular city Phillips council meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Beckman, here, Jarla,
Here.
Scott,
Here.
Grams, here.
All right, please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Consent agenda, has everybody had the chance to read through that? Any questions or comments before moving forward? All right, hearing none, I'll take a motion to accept the consent agenda as is.
I'll make that motion.
You have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
You have a motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Moving on to the guests and citizens forum, is there anybody that would like to get up and say anything?
Thank you for having office hours.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome, happy to, yeah. So nothing else, we'll move on to report from city staff, city administrator Lenny.
Nothing today, Kate and Mayor.
All right, library director Sowers.
We have quite a few things going on at the library right now. We're in the middle of our adult winter reading program. We have almost 60 people participating, so doing North Country Trail, which is a lot of fun. And that is also available. You can do it on paper, the old-fashioned way, or you can use our Beanstack app, which we did last time for kids. So you can do it either way. We had a mocktail social last week, 2 weeks ago. I'm losing track of time. 16th it was, and that was a lot of fun. We had live music, we played 3 trivia games, we had 5 different non-alcoholic drinks, and then we partnered with the Haven, so they are also going to serve the winner winning drink, which was like an Italian Bellini kind of a drink. It was called the Count of Monte Cristo. That's what it was. So that one. So they will be serving and trying that out because the social sober curious movement is kind of getting to be pretty big around the country. We have 2 author visits coming next week. Harry Griffith, he's going to be talking about the Falling series he's been writing on Friday. That's at 10:30, and on the 8th, Saturday, Kristen Scholar is coming, and she's written a children's book. And other than that, I have officially turned in my retirement notice. My last day will be May 1st, and I just want to thank the community, the council, the mayor, my library boards I've had through the years. The staff I've had, it's been an honor working here and working for the community, and I will miss the job dearly, but thank you for the 20 years I've had here. I appreciate that.
Director Olmsted.
I've just got, agenda items.
Assistant Chief Ekman.
Just agenda stuff.
All right, city attorney, it looks like we have a fill-in tonight.
Oh, yeah, Mike Carney for Joel, he's gone this week, so nothing for me tonight.
Thank you. Reports from elected officials, Councilor Grant.
Nothing tonight.
All right, Councilor Jarva.
I was at the planning commission meeting the other day, Becky was there too, but they were talking to the babysitter, the daycare person that was wanting to set up the business. They also did mention the chicken request, and they're pretty much adamant against that. And I guess I think we have all there. We're not discussing it right now tonight or anything, but they were pretty they felt that we shouldn't have no chicken. So that's all I have.
Thank you for the update, Councilor Ekman.
I just went to the library board meeting and I learned a lot, so I thought that was kind of fun, but that's about all I got.
And then on my end, I had lunch with Commissioner McDonald this afternoon. Just kind of talk about, city stuff, county stuff. Just how we can work together, just kind of doing introductions. But other than that, not much. I have a Rams meeting last week. So I learned a little bit about that, and just how much advocacy and work they do for, fire and range. So nice to see. So that's about it. On old business, there's none. New business, 11.1, change order number 1 from Max Strait Construction, for White Lakes Wellness and Recreation Center, aka. Ryan, time to have something here.
Yeah, good evening. I'm Chad Borman with SEH. I've been working with Max Gray, and the city here from the start of this project through construction. We do have one change order, requested from Max Gray to date to cover basically 3 items. Primarily through the state plan review process to get the project started. The total amount, I would rather break it down into the 3 individual parts. I think it's easier to understand. So there were 6 items in the original proposal request from the state. Only one of them actually affected any of the costs to the drawings itself. Just over $2,600. We had to change the hardware on the new sliding front door. Even though it's not required as part of the exiting system for that building. The state looked at it because the inside set of doors was a free egress door, that the sliding door right behind it should also be free egress. We kind of pushed back a little bit on that because what we were trying to do was obviously make sure after hours. So how that door is set up right now is there's a photo eye on either side. When you are open for business, either of those photo eyes detect motion, the door slides like it should. And the reason for doing that is obviously when you've got hockey bags, hockey stick, you want that door open on your way for damage. The initial proposal was after hours, the photo eye shut down. So as you walk up to that door, it doesn't try to open, it maintains security. And staff would have a deadbolt so they could lock it shut. You don't have to worry about anybody coming in. Being the state saw that as part of the egress system, what we did is we changed it to a panic device inside the door. So the photo eyes are still inoperable. So after hours, let's say somebody's in there when, meetings close, whatever, the door will not slide, but in the event of an emergency, if you hit that door, it will open. That's the biggest change. That was $2,600. The security part still works, everything else still works, but it's the hardware in the door and the electrical piece to get to that. The second item of the change order was just over $21,000, and that is all building permit costs. And that was an agreement between Max Gray and the city as far as who was going to pay for it. The city could have paid for it directly, or the contractor paid for it and be reimbursed. That was the agreement that was set forth. So that one really had nothing to do with construction at all. And the last piece is winter conditions, $19,700. Which I know it seems like a big number, but I can tell you when this was first discussed, it was upwards of $30,000. So I will give Max Gray major props in keeping this number as low as they could. So how this number came to be when this project was bid out. I don't remember what date it was bid, to be honest with you. We ran the bid window for 3 weeks, 3 consecutive weeks. And then as a council, you guys saw those bid numbers, you awarded the low bid to Max Gray at the time. The morning after you guys approved this project to go to bid, we uploaded those same drawings to the state of Minnesota. So we ran the state plan review concurrent with the bid to try to condense that as quick as we could to get this project started. Reason being, some of the ice equipment on this project has a lead time of over 1 year. So from the day they place that order, they won't see that equipment for over a year. Working backwards with the arena staff, we knew when this place had to be open, with the sheet of ice fully operational, fall of 21. In a perfect world, we would send the plans to the state of Minnesota. They would review everything. They would send it back to us. We'd incorporate all of that into an addendum, and then we'd send it out for bid. We don't have the luxury of that time here, so we had to kind of guess when they were gonna complete to get us those, to get the contractor started. Unfortunately, the state of Minnesota was very busy. When we submitted this project, they had 52 other projects in the queue before ours. Nothing we can do about that other than wait. Once Max Gray completed their bidding cycle, we awarded them the North. They are now under contract. We had 21 projects still in front of us. We waited over 9 weeks for our project, your project, all of ours, from the day we submitted it until it went to a plan review. Over 2 months, it sat there and nobody could do anything. Once it hit that plan reviewer, it took, give or take, another 7 weeks to get his formal approval for us to start it. What we tried to do in the meantime to speed all of this up in conjunction with Max Gray is get a foundation to grade permit. What that is it's a partial building permit that lets them do the excavation, the site utilities, and the foundation. State said no. It's a different review process and they didn't want to start all over. So we carried on, and I don't know if you shared the schedule, Becky, that I sent through, but we basically bugged them every single day and said, when are you done? We have a contractor that needs to go, we got equipment that needs to get done. Eventually, over the course of a couple more weeks, they gave us a conditional permit so we could finally start this project. The entire time, Max Gray could do nothing. No fault of their own, they couldn't start this project. Fall comes, winter comes, they have costs, and they're due those costs. The flip side to look at this is if we would have told all of the bidders during the bidding process, you cannot start this project till, let's say, October, whatever the date was, they would have assumed costs in their bids. And more than likely would have assumed more than this, and you would have ended up paying more. This, in my opinion, on a time and material cost is the most effective way to do it. You are seeing every dime that Max Gray has incurred. If they're not burying anything, they've been very transparent with their costs, so. It's a lot of things that are a lot of out of control, if you will, waiting in line. 9 weeks is unfortunate. But that's how it fell. I mean, we can't control it, we can't submit it any faster, we can't make them review it any faster. All we could have done different looking back is pushed our start date out farther, but I am 100% positive that you would have incurred costs because people would have factored winter conditions into their bid for heat and shelter. It's just normal in Minnesota, you have that, so. We're at $19,720, which in my opinion is the biggest part of this change because the building permit cost, we knew ahead of time, it was just who we were gonna cover those costs, so. With that, I know there's a lot of information, but I'm willing to answer any questions that might be out there.
Yeah, I guess I don't have any either great job of explaining things. Does anybody else on the council have any questions or comments they'd like to bring up for?
No, I think you explained it very well, even if we don't like what you had to explain, to be honest, it is out of your control.
I don't like it any more than you do. That's one thing I really try hard on projects is avoid change orders at all costs. And I truly do feel this was unavoidable. I think the flip side, like I said, to try to prevent it would have actually incurred more cost. And what I want to get across is if we would have told these contractors, we can't start until October, my fear is we would not have gotten many bids because they would have known that crunch time to get this project done was that tight. And they may have just walked. I mean, we are not out of the woods yet. I'm just gonna be totally honest. We need equipment to show up on time when they say it's gonna show up in order to get out. There's still a lot of variables, but I will give Max Gray. I have not worked with him personally on other projects and they have done a phenomenal job for you guys. I will say that publicly. Any other question?
None from me, sure not hers, anything from majority. All right, no other comments or questions, I'll make a motion to accept that change order. I'll make that motion. Is there anybody that would like to second that? Second. We have a motion and a second, all those in favor? Aye.
Begrudgingly, aye.
You know.
None motion carried, thank you. Moving on to 11.2, requirement from the Fitness Public Library. I think I need to go visit the library a little bit more.
Yeah. English is hard.
Right, from Sue. Yeah, she just sent me her.
Yep, so the council received her resignation, the board adopted that or approved that resignation last week at their meeting. The council does not do the hiring for the library, and so that will be done by the library board. And so you can choose to accept her retirement if you'd like and issue her thanks for her service, or you can just issue.
Question,
Yes,
can we ask the board? If we got people here that are hammering on cost saving. And we're well aware of the need for it, but can we ask the board to look into possibly a pairing and sharing situation with the board?
that would be solely up to the board. You can ask them, but you do have a required amount you are required to fund the library per year. As per state statute, so you wouldn't save a significant amount of money by pairing and sharing, you're required to have a library.
Yes, I understand, okay, I get that part, but as far as running the library, would it be possible for one librarian, and maybe you can answer the question, to run both? Are they, would it be too big of a process for a project for one person to run both libraries?
My first reaction is yes, it would be a difficult job to do. The communities are entirely different communities, different types of services, different types of collections. It would be extremely difficult. to set up. You certainly can ask the board to look into it.
The board already
And I-
posted for the.
Right, and I know years ago they did do a study on, before I came in, so it's been. They did do a study on combining the libraries, and it would actually end up costing the communities more money than having each a separate one. Just because you need more staff, if they're one director, continue with more staff covering. Each of the library buildings. But it's certainly something we can check into.
Good question, yeah, definitely, if that's something that they would, yeah, be willing to, at the very least consider, since, yeah. That was.
But won't they be hiring by the next library board meeting?
Yes,
So.
They've already got applicants on the list then?
they listed it, posted it internally for the city.
Oh,
And that is posted for 7 business days. And then the board, if their applications received, then the board will do the interviews the week of February 3rd. And then, the decision by the February 13th.
Never hurts to mention it to them though, and just have it in their ear for future or something to think about. When we
Sounds like it's
decide.
too late now, but yeah.
Alright, I guess I wrote up a little thing just to thank you, Sue. I'd like to thank Ms. Sowers for her many years of dedication to our city as our library director. She has been in that position ever since I can remember. I think we can all agree that she has gone above and beyond in her role. She has ensured that the library isn't solely just a place where you can pick up a book and leave, but a welcoming place where children and adults alike can spend time and take part in a variety of fun activities. Whoever takes her spot should know that they have very big shoes to fill. And I want to ensure that the library board knows that they have an important job. My hope is that they choose somebody as committed, inviting, and hardworking this year. Thank you again. So yeah, I will take a motion to accept the retirement letter.
So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second,
Second.
we have a motion and a second, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Moving on to 11.3, recommendation from the planning commission to approve the home occupation permit for 411.
As Councilor Jarvis has stated, the planning commission met on this last week. There was one member of public attendance, and that was the permit requester. There were no other members of the public in attendance. The planning commission does recommend to approve this home occupation permit for a daycare on Kent Road.
And just to reiterate, this individual with more relation.
Never hurts to point that out, right? No, I would make a motion, to approve that. It's a much needed service, White Lakes and the surrounding area, so I would make a motion. 1 second.
For sure, we have a motion, a second, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion
Does
carries.
she know when she's gonna open?
I didn't receive that information. She is working on her permitting through the county.
Getting her license.
So yeah, we'll be, be eager to hear when it actually opens and can start taking kiddos. So yeah, moving on, 11.4, contract for 926 wheel loader for the public works department.
The council budgeted and approved a loader with trade-in of one of the graders from Public Works Department, so this is that contract. You should know it did decrease $14,000 from the original quote price, and so you will see a reduction of costs there. And so both Public Works Director Schnetzinger and myself recommend approving this.
Yeah, he's came here before and spoken to kind of the need of something like that and kind of the benefits of getting the house first. Can tell them a little bit. Is there any other comments or questions before?
How did they manage to reduce the price? I'm not complaining.
Just the market's changed.
Okay. But I mean, it's to our benefit, so.
Right, in a time when stuff is increasing in price, that we get a little decreasing. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to approve that or accept. We have 6 contracts.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion. Is there a
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Moving on to 11.5, temporary easement request from St. Louis County for Canadian Memorial Drive project at 3 Fields.
So I'll speak to 5 through 7. They are all temporary easement requests from St. Louis County for their 2 different projects they have going on in the city next year. The first 2 are for Kennedy Memorial Drive, County Highway 110. The second one is for Kensington, County Highway 665. So these are just temporary easements. They will reimburse the city for utilizing them. We already were aware that they were gonna close the entrances on the north side of City Hall for this project. And they are already aware that we have a utility box there, and so that will get replaced. It is pretty old and no longer weatherproof, so when it rains, everyone's money gets wet in there, so we'll probably be actually replacing it. And then the only entrance exit to the City Hall parking lot will be to the south during this construction. We do recommend that you approve all of these easements as they are temporary and necessary for getting the projects done in the St. Louis County. Approve it one at a time, please.
Alrighty, any questions or comments regarding these easements before we move forward?
Is this just to kind of like store, like, put their equipment and stuff on the side, or?
Yes, it's for that. They'll also be tearing into the areas, general work in the area. They want to compensate you for utilizing your
And
property.
then they have to fix it up, fix the grass and whatever.
Yeah, I know I had an email about some citizen concern about Highway 665, but it doesn't pertain to right here on Main Street, and this is an area of it that does need to get done for the project, so yeah, I have no problem. Yeah, I have no questions on these, they're pretty
Where's
self-explanatory.
665?
It's Kensington Drive.
Has to be FW out to New Leach Company.
Oh, one used to be 666?
Yeah, it's not
Okay.
665. The company, if you didn't like it, they did.
You get 30 years of it, it's fine.
Right. Do you know if they have anything set in stone yet for like that approach from the west side of the PD? Is it possible to make that approach a little bit wider for getting fire trucks and stuff, a little more user friendly?
Yeah, I can Do you have Eric Wilson's number? I can get you his number. You can talk to him. He's a county engineer.
All right, so yeah, just considering that, do we need to pass these, but to do that work, I will take a motion for 11.5 to accept that.
So move.
You have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
With a motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Moving on to 11.6 for that temporary easement, I'll move. Motion from Councilor Jarrell, is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Finally, moving on to 11.7 for that temporary easement, I'll take a motion for that.
So move.
We have a motion, I'll take a second.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. So 5, 6, 7, moving on to 11.8. Listed as recommendation to interview for a casual part-time paramedic with EMS.
So, Director Olmsted recommends the council hire Emily Jagger and Stephanie Zimmer. The council previously has requested to interview all employees of the city, and so I wasn't sure if you wanted to hire them or interview them. As previously you requested to interview all candidates, who want to be employed with the city, so I would leave that up to the city.
I would just hire them, so it's like through, I mean, they're both city employees already.
And I guess speaking from me wanting to be a part of the hiring process, I guess it was more so with the personnel committee piece of things. With like full-time employees, directors, office staff, just maybe like those more like full-time positions as opposed to, like with the summer students, I wasn't expecting us to be interviewing all the summer students.
Example members.
Right, like people like that, I was thinking kind of those more bigger hires that we do, I would want everybody involved with that, just because they're so important, not saying that part-time or temporary people aren't important, it's just the money that goes into hiring full-time employees. And from my understanding, we have a policy in place already to hire part-time casual EMTs and firefighters.
And that, yeah, we interviewed, we followed city policy.
And the policy isn't being followed in other areas, that's why I wasn't sure which direction you wanted to go.
Did you say the policy is or
Is not being followed.
what is the actual policy?
The policy is that the personnel committee will do interviews, and this council has requested to do the interviews.
For EMS, fire too.
The council is like for the council position, all that kind of stuff, usually the personnel committee is the one who does the interviews, but this council is requested to do the interviews.
How are these people employees of the city over there?
They're both, casual or part-time EMTs. But they both passed their paramedic licensure, so we interviewed them last week.
So are they going to remain as EMTs also?
So the casual paramedics are only for, like, if I have one that's out sick or one that's on vacation. I don't have extra shifts for other paramedics, so they'd be vacation replacements or if someone's sick.
Do you watch their hours so that they work a maximum of 40 and don't get overtime? When they're working two positions like that, it's still the same employer.
Right, the EMTs don't have a cap on the hours they can work because they're waiting to be engaged. So their hours don't count because they don't have to be down at the fire hall, they're at home. So they can't be full-time employees. There's a different job classes. It's been a long process and this has been reviewed by
Yeah,
the employers. Don't worry, we're doing it right, Dave.
It's changed a lot since I retired from the department.
It has. So their hours on call don't count as hours worked. Their hours worked are when they're actually butts are on the ambulance.
You're still paid for those hours on call, right?
Yes.
And the state allows that?
Yeah. They do not qualify for overtime. Paramedics do, but they're full-time employees that have to be stationed at the fire hall during their shifts.
All right, any other comments or questions? Is there anybody that would like to make a motion, to accept Human Director's, Homestead's recommendation to hire, Emily and Stephanie? I guess pending whatever sort of things we need. We generally do something.
There shouldn't be anything pending because they're already employees, so they passed background check and physical.
All right,
Do I have to abstain from this or?
no, I don't think so.
Okay.
Doesn't-
Just making sure.
Is there a conflict of interest with these two being current members?
Ask your signature.
I didn't
Is there a conflict of interest, us proving this as being EMTs or not?
I think it's better transparency if you're an EMT that you abstain from the meeting.
But then there's only Sherry and I.
Yep, that'll still be a pass vote.
Yeah.
I'll make the motion to hire Emily and Stephanie.
Guess I gotta second it.
If you want to.
I would ask you, Mel, if you could get me a copy of the information on that. That whatever.
I will look into, maybe, yeah, it came from Mitch. Back in the
Okay,
day.
but I'd like. to-
We've been operating like this for 10 years.
Okay, still. Trust and verify both. If you could give me that information, I would appreciate it. It's,
I'd just like to interject, I think what Administrator Lammy indicated that the past practice goes to personnel committee, is that correct?
Typically,
This is my kind of a hybrid, because they already are employees, they're, looking at that, so it's kind of like just an additional job duty, so to speak. It is a new position, but that can be distinguished from going forward where, usually goes to the policy has been to go to the personnel committee. That's one of them, so
that's your recommendation?
I don't see a problem with it, because they follow that practice going forward.
So have EMS when they get hired, go through the personnel committee?
well, he's saying to follow the current policy. So the current policy is fire EMS interviews for casual part-time employees down there. But for everything else, it should go through the personnel committee.
Correct.
Unless we change the policy.
Correct.
Right, we can change the policy.
So this is a discussion for another time, maybe for the next agenda of, interviews and things like that, I think we make changes to the hiring policy. So we don't have to get to a council meeting and we can, well, follow the policy says. And Dave is on board with that too, that entire council.
I feel that all of us
For big.
should be on personnel.
Is the same as you, Joe? How about you, Sherry? Do you think the whole council should be part of the hiring process, kind of changing a little bit of how?
For the. Like,
For the
department
part-time
heads, the
position.
directors,
Yeah.
yeah, fine with that for stuff like this, I don't know that we need to.
No, I mean, how we've done it,
Yeah.
yes, with the firefighter and chief other things, I think it's been fine. Going. We've run into sort of issues.
I mean, they're interviewed by chiefs and
Right.
everything from other departments.
Yeah. So yeah, keeping the firefighter EMT piece of things the same, but then making changes to, the full-time / whenever that personnel could be, is, involved in. All right, moving on. So we have a motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. 11.9, recommendation to interview for casual part-time firefighter / EMT.
So Assistant Chief Ekman's here, but they do recommend hiring Julie Nyman and Keith Nyman for casual part-time. Departments.
So Julie is on a department already, paramedic, and then interviews for the part-time EMT. And then her husband Keith. Gonna employ Mount Iron Fire by Sandy. So we have Lakeland Fire, Mike Fleshville, Gilbert Fire Chief. Like, long name. And then, Bruce Carlson, called. Anyway, myself. And
Keith is already a firefighter and an EMT, so there's no training involved,
I'll just do background check and
same with Julie.
Are these full-time positions or they are part-time?
They're firefighters. EMTs.
They moved away from this recently, so they wanted to join our fire department as firefighters. And EMTs.
And Julie's was currently an EMT already.
Yeah, she's a paramedic, a full-time paramedic on the department.
Now, on our department? Does that have any conflict with what we just?
It's the same as Cody and myself, we're both full-time paramedics. And part-time, EMT firefighters.
Like I said, I'd like to see that. I know, but if you get that in, I'd appreciate it. Nothing else, just stick it in my mailbox.
I'll send you something.
So yeah, so you went through the process of interviewing and doing the same sort of shtick you do with folks that we've done in the past already. Yeah, lucky to have a couple new firefighters here in town. But anybody like to, make a motion to, accept, Chief House's recommendation, to hire Keith and Julie Nyman, for federal part-time firefighter EMT positions. With Julie, she won't have to do the background check, drug testing, because she's already an employee. Keith, on the other hand, isn't, so we'll have to do the background check, drug testing, and physical exam, whatever, for him. So would anybody like to make a motion to accept that, pending those things?
I'll make a motion pending background checks.
We have a motion?
I assume it'll be extension again.
Yeah.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second, Jill and I will abstain. All those in favor,
Aye.
any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. So that concludes everything on the agenda for the regular council meeting. I'll accept a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
We have a motion, is there anybody to second that? We have a motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?